The Soul Logistic Radio Show is sponsored in part by True Love and Life Ethiopian Coffee, made with the original Ethiopian coffee bean. For more information, log on to roundtable.health. Greetings and welcome to the Soul Logistic Radio Show podcast. I'm your host, Doug Evans, the unknown icon. Few people call me Hannibal Smith, and Ryan Shotgun, the Minister of Information, the straw that stirs the drink. The movie critic, Fat Tommy, what's popping, bro?
Good afternoon. It's beautiful being down here in Florida, but check it out. They have lizards, right? Geckos or whatever. I'm gonna have to film. They're real little and they run really fast. So everywhere you go, like if you go to the mall or if you go to the grocery store, everywhere you go see these little lizards that run around. They don't have
The
mice, they have
geckos.
lizards.
The
They're
geckos.
lizards. They
The
run
lizards.
around just yes, little lizards. And they get big. They get as big like I've seen some bigger than my hand. So they aren't little. There's a lot of little ones, but then they grow up to be big ones.
Can you bring one home for a pet?
I'm sure you can, but you know what? When you leave Florida, you ever notice they have signs that say you're not supposed to take wildlife. Like you're not even supposed to
Oh.
legally take turtles out of Florida. Like I saw a turtle just yesterday. I was like, wow, that would be cool. Take it home. And then I was like, you know what? They have the signs all over saying even fruit and vegetables. You're not supposed to bring fruits into Florida. Like me and you shouldn't drive a truckload of peaches from Virginia to Florida. Like they would stop us and say nah because we have
Really?
the insects and stuff that you bring in. They don't want them here. And then I know on TV you see the show where people were releasing their snakes and they had all those pythons and now they running wild in Florida. And so when people take
Yeah.
lizards and turtles and stuff up north, it's not good for America.
That's crazy. That's some good inside information you got there, Fat Tommy.
Well, I don't think too many people come down here. I come down here. I never think to put a turtle in a fish bowl and bring it back to Virginia. But I see you were in the Navy. You thought that you might want to do something like that. Okay.
Hey, look, check this out. Make sure y'all check out the Solar Justice Radio Show today, 6 p.m. on 91.3 WVST on this day. Hey, listen, got a brand new record from Snoop Dogg and DJ Premier. Got
Oh, that
that.
should be dope.
Also, a brand new record from Common and Pete Rock.
And I know you're gonna play J. Cole's response to
You
Kendrick.
know it's going down. You know it's going down. You know it's going down there.
Absolutely.
Hey, listen. People talking about it's whack. You know what I love about the battle is that it's almost like two friends just like, look, I don't want to do this. Wow, I don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying?
But it's really like this. If we in hip hop, right? If we in anything, if we in track, both of us run the 100. Me and you, we best friends. We ride or die. I'm at your wedding. You the best man in my wedding. When it come time to get on the track and we racing, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like we are best friends. We even train together. I show up, meet you at Petersburg High. We run laps together. We go to the gym. We work out together. But when we show up at the Olympics and it's time for us to line up beside each other, we shake hands and we don't want each other to win. I do not
Right.
want Doug Evans to win. I love you, Doug. You my man. I want to
But
win. Now, if I can't win, I want you to win. But
got you.
beyond that, I want to win. So if I'm a rapper, and I can tell you, rap is competitive. Like we need to get back to the fun. The whole point of this is to be fun. It's to say who has the best lines, who can, and they're keeping it respectful, which
That's what
I
that's
don't
what I
think.
like. That's what I like about it, and I think people saying it's soft. It's a soft battle because I don't want to hear I f your wife and all that. I want to hear like I'm with you. I want to hear respectful battle, right?
But hold it. when Tupac said I effed your wife, it's a good argument that he had.
Yeah, but I was like,
I
okay, like,
mean that.
okay,
Well, hold it. If we really at war, see, I don't believe they was really at war. But if we really warring, or we see, it's a fine line between battle rap because when they start battling, from everything I watch, everything is open. You can say whatever you want. Now, I think it's
yeah,
ignorant to start talking about people's mother and to do all of that, but people do that. That's what they do.
I get
I'm
it. But I'm saying,
glad.
I
I
get,
think
I
these
get.
two are more lyrical and shouldn't include that. Like they're proving that you don't have to do that.
That's what I'm saying. That's basically what I'm saying. I'm just like every battle don't have to go that route. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, they supposed to be metaphors. When he say I'm gonna spray you, he don't really mean he gonna go load up his
Right,
gun and run by there and shoot you. He mean he
right.
gonna spray you with these words. So I mean, well, let me ask you a question. When you go back and you look at the history of hip hop, what about Ether? You know, he came out with FJZ. You know, he's
Yeah, but see, they had a feud, a real feud between one another. To me, this is the peanut gallery boosting them up together because J. Cole always talk about they trying to throw him into beef. They trying to it's the fans is trying to egg this on
right.
and like we cool. No, who's the best? Who so it's this is like me and you cool, Fat Tommy, but the fans is egging us on to get this on, and then you take a little shot at me like. Yo, but Doug's my man, like you said. Doug's my man, but I get at him if I have to. And I'm like, whoa, hold on.
You know what?
Fat Tommy's my man, but
It's almost like Biggie and Tupac because they was friends, and the world, the industry kind of threw them at. I mean, Tupac took a shot, but the industry kind of was putting them, you know, East Coast, starting with the East Coast West Coast beef. There was no East Coast West Coast beef. Tupac felt some type of way about Biggie, and the media ran with that story. The first shots weren't by Biggie or Tupac; it was the media. Who was it that first said? Tupac ain't say Biggie set me up to be shot. The headline was Tupac gets shot at Puffy's studio. They already inciting a riot by making it by posing it like that. Like it's not like Tommy was at Doug's house and he got shot. It's like Doug invited me over for a cookout and then got me shot. Like that's how they posed the story. When that wasn't necessarily no one from the inside ever stated that. Because remember, Biggie, Puffy, and Lil C's them all said we didn't have no problems. We didn't even know what was going on. It was the portrayal that the story that was written that put them there. So right now, each time they take a shot, literally we can't prove that they talking about. I mean, we can, I mean, they keeping it clean. I think it's good because it's
I
showing
like it. But
lyrical. It's showing lyrical. The use of metaphors is what hip hop is all about. It's showing who can be lyrical and beat this where you can't really say. So if you actually say I said it, I can say, nah, Doug, now you know I didn't say that. Like I have plausible deniability. And it's like I get to sneak punch you in the face 36 times and then sit there and go, I ain't do that. And then you do the same thing back, and the
right,
whole world mad because me and you play fight.
right.
And y'all mad.
I want you to stab him, Doug. I want you, yeah, but that's really my
Right.
man, yo.
They mad because we won't really fight. That's what it
Yeah.
is. So I think it's awesome. I mean, I
Right.
think it's doing a lot for hip hop, and I think we should take notice because by the principles, it's supposed to be peace, love, and safely having fun.
There you go. There
So it's
you
not
go.
supposed to be taken beyond this. And if you start talking about people's mothers and sleeping with their wives, that puts a different spin on it. Then when I see you in public, I can't really laugh. And first of all, I can't say
Right.
Doug is my man if Doug is running around saying he slept with my
Right.
wife. Like y'all
Right.
can't be
Right.
friends. How are y'all friends when he said he slept with your wife or he gonna rape your daughter? What kind of friend says that to another friend? So
Right.
yes, they
That's
need to be
right.
able to do this and keep it clean.
Speaking about, you
Well,
said Puff. Go ahead.
I wanted to pivot a minute because we were talking about people's feelings, and I know this is old news, but it just won't seem to go away. The young lady at LSU, when she lost and started crying, they making that like a story. And here's what I want to say about that. First of all, she's in college. They lost the biggest game of her, career pretty much. Everybody cries after that game. I mean, eh, everybody that is passionate like she is about the sport. I've seen guys refuse to remove the towel from their face when they
Yeah.
start crying. And for people to sit up there and say she's supposed to be the villain and now she can't cry. I mean,
Right.
and I hear black men saying this. I hear black men saying that young black women aren't allowed to cry when they lost. Like they lost, they wanted to stand up and take it on the chin. No, she's sad because she did not win. What you want to do? Stand up there and be braggadocious and say, "Well, she got me on today." That's fine. That's
Well,
what
well,
some
well.
people can
She,
do.
she also was getting death threats. Like that's off the field stuff she's crying about. And like you're right. They made her the villain. She didn't want to be the villain. You made her the villain. And so now she own it. You saying she's supposed to suck up and be the villain and take it, take everything. You're supposed to just keep taking stuff. And she's a female. So yeah, I don't appreciate the brothers going at her like that. I didn't appreciate that at all.
You know what? Let's spin it a second. If she was a guy, like in the state that we in America right now, where we are as a country today, the stuff that we are talking about as it relates to bullying and all of that. If she was a guy, he shouldn't be able to
Mm,
cry. He shouldn't be able to
mm.
break down and cry because he's a senior and he's not going to the championship, the big dance. He's not. Is he not allowed to cry?
Right,
But I
right.
mean,
I
so
mean,
what are we saying here? This is emotions, y'all. She plays with passion, and she's throwing her ring because she want to win. When she lose, she's equally as passionate. Like she lost, so
man,
the
these Sambo coon dudes, I can't even watch this stuff no more, man. It's like, all it is this. They don't have a problem with black athletes going after other black athletes. You can do that all day, talk bad about, but once you a black athlete whooping a white athlete, they don't like that. You should be humble. You should humble yourself. And they don't like that. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. They say it's soft when two black guys are sharing jerseys, laughing. They say the game is soft. You shouldn't be doing that, right? But as soon as a black guy go after a white player, it's like he's too much. He's doing too much. He's rowdy. You saw the article in the magazine came out who put them against each other. One
yeah,
is
called
the
one of
dirty,
the
right,
dirty
debutante,
debutantes, and the other
right.
was the milk and Atlanta milk and honey. Yes.
See what I mean? You see what I'm talking about?
Well, see, but that's not a villain. What we have to really do is remember this. America paints a narrative of black and white, period. So the mere fact this is not a villain, what happens is the best girl in college basketball happens to be arguably Caitlin, a white girl. She's number one. If anybody go to the park and they trying to got all the women lined up in basketball and you have to pick a teammate, most people pick Caitlin first. The problem is last year LSU beat them. The problem is that Angel Reese had a beautiful game and she started talking trash. It was just a trash talking game. And then the black girl won. Once the black girl won, the media decided she was a villain. Caitlyn never said nothing
Mm,
villainous about
right.
her.
That's right.
Caitlyn and her hugged and thought the game was beautiful. It was the commentators. It was the peanut gallery, is what we used to call them. Ain't none of them in the game. All they doing is sitting on the sidelines talking. They painted this narrative of good versus evil, black versus white, but that's because in America there's always a racial undertone, and we can't forget that. The
Mm,
powers that be always want to keep us at odds racially because the 1% want us to forget that they're oppressing us. The 1% want us to forget that they control the narrative. So what they do is they put all this other stuff to distract us. They put this racist undertone where there is no racism. It's a black girl and a white girl playing. Ain't nothing racist about it. They both play sports. You know what I'm saying? The white girl is good. I watched her. She is balling out of control.
right.
Absolutely having the season of her life. No one can deny that. But now, because she's playing a team that's predominantly black, y'all change the whole narrative and forget we're talking about basketball here. That's what they do. And that's what they're trying to do to J. Cole and Kendrick. They're trying to make them forget that this is just fun and games and rapping. They want us to ratchet it up a level where they start flashing guns and shooting each other. And they're saying, no, that's not what we're doing. That's not what this is
Right,
about.
right. So we gotta respect those brothers. And
Absolutely,
speaking
because they
about you,
do it. Look, they
you
doing it,
brought
and
up
neither one of them bowed down either. They
you,
constantly do it, and they sticking to the code, both of them. So I
you
applaud
brought
them
up
brothers.
You brought up Puff Daddy, and speaking about Puff Daddy, on this day, 1999, Nas released his third album, I Am. And on that album had Hate Me Now. And I'm telling you, man, you listen to that record right now, you hear Puff Daddy going off on the record. It really brings it home about take a day. Take a while you out there in Florida. Take a listen to "Hate Me Now" and listen to how Puffy is going off on that record.
I know the record well. You can hate me now. Yes, I know the record well. I promoted the record. Uh,
Okay,
what because anytime a bad boy artist featured on a record, the street team, we got checks for that. Like they don't let, if Puff features on a record, he don't, if Atlantic don't want to promote it, the record don't get the flop because of that. If Biggie go and do a feature for Little C's, or if Biggie was to be on a J. Cole record, we would have promoted the J. Cole record because we don't let Biggie fail. That's the way it was
okay,
back then. So no matter if Puff was on Nas's album or not, we still gonna work the record and make sure that Puff is shown in the best light. But when you listen to that record, absolutely he's going in. Like now you saying, wait a minute,
right, right.
you might want to rethink what you thought about Puff. I mean, because I used to say, listen, I said it was no way that Puff could have killed Biggie or had anything to do with it. I thought he was too soft. I was like, you know what? In the 1996, Puff Daddy was just this arrogant, but he was really a dancer. He wasn't no tough guy. Like he didn't scare nobody I knew. I mean, I don't until you start saying that he blew up people's cars. I still wouldn't be scared of him. Like until you would have to show me that he blew up Kid Cudi's car because look, they came to the flood zone one time. Biggie, Puffy, Busta Rhymes, Keith Murray. I'm in the back of Mouse Jones' limo talking to Keith Murray about bringing him to Richmond to do a show in 2 weeks. They start shooting at the flood zone, a block on the other side, though. It's a big, giant building, brick building. They shooting on the other side now. Buster is rolling a blunt from a quarter-pound bag. He got a quarter-pound bag under his arm, and he's rolling one blunt out of a quarter-pound bag. Now, at first, I thought that was crazy, but then this is what Buster said. If it's in a bunch of bags, it's distribution. If it's in one bag, it's possession. You're allowed to possess up to this much. So hey, if I put it in a little bag now, I'm in trouble. So everywhere you saw Buster, he rolled right from a quarter-pound bag, and that was a fact. What he said, I checked out, was facts.
Mm.
We in the back of the limo, and two shots go off, and Puff dives across the limo seats. In the back. Now I'm facing Keith Murray, and Keith is right there. When Puff opens the door, he dives in. Literally, he dives in the lap of Keith Murray, which all of us in the car thought it was weird, borderline soft. And Keith just pushed him on the floor, like get off here. Just pushed him on the floor, like that's what it was. And then Puff was like, they shooting out there, they shooting out there, and we was like, it's on the other side of the building. What are you tripping for? Like it's not even close. Like it's almost like if me and you sitting in the backyard and we hear them shooting over there. Ain't nobody diving on the ground in the backyard. You at my house. They shooting in the
You
acres that
don't
I
know,
can
man.
get.
You don't know, man. When those shots got people turn, you know what I'm saying? You ain't no telling, yo.
But well, at any rate, he got pushed on the ground. It was considered to be soft behavior. Buster never even stopped rolling. Like when you open up the car door and Buster is sitting there with his back against the wall, rolling a joint. That's how in danger we were. That he never moved. Okay, we in the alley. There's two brick buildings on both sides. The only way you get shot in this alley is if they shoot up the alley. Think about it. You're in an alley. It's a brick wall on both sides. The shooting is on the other side of the building. There's no way you're gonna get hit. It's a solid brick building on both sides of it. So that's
Hey,
that's that's why I
go
always
ahead.
thought he was too soft. But now when you go back and judge it, you go, wow, maybe him and Jay-Z did have the ultimate plot to do away with Biggie so that Brooklyn could take back over control. And that would just be such a conspiracy theory. Jay-Z and Puff Daddy plotted to kill Biggie and have
Oh
Jay
Lord,
Z become the number one rapper. Okay, let's
that's
just
too much for me. That's too
okay.
much for me.
But if you look at it, they stayed true to each other. They became best friends. There you go. They had the men elite. They did the toast. You know what? The good thing is we'll know because Puff gonna tell it. if everything, or if we want to know about conspiracy theory, we will know right now because if what y'all are saying is true, if these allegations are true, if the feds went in this house and confiscated all the videotapes that y'all say he had, he getting ready to tell it.
Hey man,
So
but don't you think that was a little overzealous what they did with the kids, his kids? They came. You thought El Chapo they was coming to get.
Hold it.
You think
This
that was a bit much?
this is what I want to ask you. When the feds come to your house, when the federal government comes to your house, right, with a search warrant, I'm gonna tell you exactly what they do. They secure the premises first. Everyone in the house, every maids, butlers, shoe salesmen, what they call the knock on your door, Jehovah's Witnesses that just was knocking on the door. If they in the house when the federal government comes in the house or the police department, they secure the premises. That's what they do. And if you are
But you
if
didn't
you're
think that was a bit much? They had the red beam light on the kid. Come on, man. That was a bit much, Fat Tommy.
okay, what happens if is this man? Okay, hold it. What happens if he
They
really blew up Kid Cudi's car? Just let's stop right there. What happens if he really blew up Kid Cudi's car? What happens if his security really did shoot a lady in the face at a nightclub? What happens if they did that? What happens if he really did shoot somebody in the bathroom? So now, Doug, you gonna run up in the house with no gun? You just gonna walk, knock on the door? Hey, Doug Evans,
I ain't saying
FBI,
that.
let me
I
in.
ain't saying. I'm saying you saw the look like the SWAT team, look like the
Because
military, look like they had the whole
you
military
was
out
in the
there.
military, right? You was in the
Right,
military, correct? Okay.
right.
Once we have a mission planned, right? Just because we get there and find out that it's a house full of kids, does anything change about the mission? They tell all the kids, line up, run out that door. Nothing changed. They don't put no guns down. They don't stop until they clear the entire house. When they
I,
go in,
I
so
would.
now you called in a certain force within the government. You didn't call in Deputy Chambliss and Chief Christian of the Petersburg Police Department. You called in Homeland Security. Homeland Security does things by a certain procedure, right? So once you invoke them, they're going in and doing everything by their procedure. They don't care. Up, is there nothing in here but kids? Put him in handcuffs because I don't know him. Handcuff him, escort him out. They just detained him. Look, when they raided my Uncle Fred's house, they surrounded the house. My Aunt Dorothy called the police. They told her to sit in the living room, better not open your mouth. We are issuing a search warrant now, searching the whole premise, and made her sit in one room. She hungry. She can't go in her kitchen and cook till they finish with the search warrant. So they told her, now get out the house. Now we found a rifle, get out your house. She called the police. They put her out her own house and then secured the whole perimeter. Made her security. When I went to my uncle's house, I couldn't even step into the yard without police saying, who are you and what are you doing here? So
Mm.
when they go there, it's alleged that one, Puffy had armed security. So now I don't know if I'm gonna get
Did
there and
it?
run
Did
into
it?
arms.
Did it?
I
Did it?
didn't see any. Did he?
Right.
Did he? Are we saying did he or did he? What are you confusing me? Did he or did he? Did he had security alert, but they were all
No,
gone.
I've seen cases when they come in the house and they'll put the kids on the curb. You just sit on the curb. Somebody watch the kids. They
Those
sitting
are
there
white
and
people.
they
Wait.
right,
Those are white
right,
people. Okay, hold it.
right,
We're
right,
talking
right,
about black people. Where have you seen in black America where
right.
the
I'm just
police or
saying. That's
anyone
what.
raids your house and then they say, hey, Doug, could you and Doug Jr. go sit outside on the curb for us? Please give us 5 minutes. They don't do that in black America. They don't
All
care.
right.
And he has criminal ties to the Gambino drug family from way back. They were
Lord
saying
have
that back
mercy.
when Biggie was killed. His father was a gangster. That's what they
Yeah,
say. So
yeah.
he ain't you're not talking about just a normal businessman who works and is the chairman of Walmart. You're talking about a person who came up in the entertainment industry at a time when it was very volatile, is at least associated with two people's deaths, three people being shot, and human trafficking. Okay, they're
Mm.
there on a human trafficking warrant. They're not there to check to see if Puff stole masters. They're not there trying to see if Puff signed somebody to a faulty music industry contract. They're saying the man is human trafficking.
Has he been arrested yet?
No, sir.
You did all that, and the man haven't been arrested.
Okay,
Isn't that
this is what
something?
I'm gonna go on record and say
I'm just
this.
saying, isn't that
Wait,
that's
wait.
kind
I want to say this first on television on the camera because I'm 58 years old, right? I've
right.
seen the feds raid someone's house before. Never in my 58 years have the federal government raided somebody and then not arrested them. Now, sometime it take a week, sometime it take a month. But I have never known the federal government to spend what I clearly think was $500,000 on the low. They spent half
Thank
a
you.
million
Thank you.
dollars
Thank
to raid 3 locations at Puff's house. If they don't arrest him, I would be shocked.
you.
I would be completely shocked if they didn't even just figure out something. Like at this point, even if they don't find nothing, they got to be like, look, we just had the man all over TMZ. They already arrested his drug dealer. Remember, they arrested the drug dealer. Now, listen, I'm going to do like they do on TV. I got some sources that's close to the situation. This is what they told me. They told me that the federal government was already tapping Puffy's phones and that they waited for him to leave. They knew he had already scheduled the jet to leave. They waited for him to leave because they didn't want to run into anything, but they were unsure if they were going to run anything. So once he made it to the airport, that's when they hit all the houses. They hit him waiting for him to leave because they wanted as least resistance as possible. I was told they wasn't expecting to see Justin them at the house. So they
Mm.
was as surprised as we, as anybody. They was expecting to go in the house and nobody be there but staff, and that wasn't the way it went down. So
Okay, let's
that's
get to
just
this.
what the rumor mill.
Let's get to this good times. Hold on. Let's get to this. Hold on. Good times reboot on Netflix. Did you get a chance to check out the trailer, Fat Tommy?
I did.
Please tell me you checked this trailer
I,
out.
I watched it. I watched it right before. I watched it again right before the last 10 minutes. I sat there and watched it before we came on. Right now.
And what did you think about the trailer, Fat Tommy?
Um, I'm 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 kind of confused because I don't know where we're going with this. Like part of it is saying to me that they're trying to have somewhat woke cartoon, almost like the Boondocks. But then when I watched it, it says it's actually going to be the complete opposite of the Boondocks, and it's going to be more like the PJs. Remember the PJs? It made it a week. It was so degrading and humiliating that they had to take it off of television. Eddie Murphy did the PJs.
Right.
Uh, Stephen Curry, Norman Lear. I mean,
Wow.
I heard some good punchlines, but
Did
I
you?
think it's
I didn't hear one. I didn't hear one.
I'm gonna tell you the one. Here's the one. She said, the revolution. And she said, no problem. I'm black. It'll be there tomorrow. The struggle. She said, the struggle continues, sister. The struggle continues. She said, I'm black. The struggle will be there tomorrow. If that's not the attitude that black people have, we will try to protest and everybody will put it off to tomorrow. That is just like that one line said, you know what? That says everything I need to know, not only about the show, but about Black America. Because yes, it was telling what I could consider to be a truth, but because you're telling it in such a first let me point out the scene we're seeing right now, the shooting across, it's going to be absolute buffoonery, absolute coonery. I'm
Mm.
surprised that Steve
Steph
what's his
Curry.
name?
Steph Curry. Steph
No,
Curry.
Steve Harvey wasn't the executive producer. I said I'm surprised that it's not executive produced by Steve Harvey. Um I think it's gonna take a lot for me to watch it. It's gonna have to be out and I'm gonna have to read all the comments and hear everything because I just think that it's going to be more of the same. Like, look,
Man.
if we look at hip hop right now and we say, well, look at hip hop, and we go, it's really bad, and I go, but is it really? Because the kids could be selling drugs, they're not. That becomes the argument. They're really not selling drugs. They're really not selling sex. They're really just saying words, and people go and buy it. But then we look at what it does to the community. At some point, we all have to take a stance and say, because if you remember, we was the enough is enough crowd. And so they beat us down with it so much that we started letting stuff pass. Much like yourself. That's why they call you Hannibal Smith because you were so strong in your opinions. But when you go through a long life of that, people beat you down and you become like just susceptible to saying, okay. And like that's where
Mm.
we at now. They're trying to normalize buffoonery. That's how I see this, but they're gonna put one or two good lines in there so that you can have something to point to. So that you could go, well, they did say that, but then they're gonna give you so much buffoonery that it's gonna be like, like the black Jesus. Okay, they gave you a black Jesus, but
Right.
now he gonna answer the phone. Who this? New phone. He said new phone. Who this? See, that's what I mean right there. It's gonna be buffoonery.
The baby's a drug dealer. I mean, come on, fam. This is man.
You know where they got that from? Robin Harris, remember? And Dave
Baby
Chappelle.
kids.
Remember Dave Chappelle said he was there and the dude, the little baby was selling weed. And he was telling the baby, watch out. And he said, man, I'm hustling. He told Dave Chappelle, you better be careful. I
Yeah,
live
it was like
around here.
what that baby doing on the corner this late at night? Yeah, I
Yes,
remember.
selling weed. So now they making a cartoon version of it, and we mad. We see that's almost like us saying we don't like Sexy Red, but then big up in Lil Kim and saying, "Oh man, Trina was dope. Oh my God, Trina had this. You can't stop Trina. Lil Kim was this, and then you saying Sexy Red ought to be ashamed of herself. No, Negro, when Little Kim was out, you didn't say none of that. You was like, oh, I'm down with Kim. Now they have their version, and you're going to speak ill against them. It's sort of like
But the difference is we wasn't trying to let Lil Kim come speak at our school.
that's not altogether true.
My mother wasn't not allowing me to listen to Millie Jackson. Millie Jackson was for my mother. And when I had to sneak
Yeah, you
and
have to
listen to
sneak.
Millie
Yes,
Jackson and
absolutely.
Dolomite. They trying to bring Sexy Red to the school and listen to kids. The kids, Sexy Red is not for kids. That's what we
Hold it.
saying.
I have a question. I have a question. Here's the question. If Sexy Red comes to tell kids that they shouldn't do drugs, let's just say that she gives the best message ever, right? I don't care what it is. You know, it's just one that you agree with, right? It's a message that you agree with that all the kids need to hear. And they give it and have her deliver it. What happens if she's the person that they'll listen to? And she's saying, okay, this is what I need you to say, Sexy Red. Go out there. Here's the propaganda I want you to spew. Go tell them this. Does it matter then? Because we could send my wife, right? And we send my wife
Right.
and the kids don't even listen. They boo and they throw popcorn and they throw apples at her. Or we could send Sexy Red. Now, I'm not saying that Sexy Red should go to the school and talk what Sexy Red talks. I'm asking if she gives the message that you're comfortable with, does she get to come to your school? The Doug Evans School, Hannibal Smith, can she come to your school? This is what she's gonna say.
What's that? Did I hear something?
Oh, that was somebody walked behind me. Go ahead.
Oh. No, I think as an adults, no, we just don't settle. It's other people we could put in place of Sexy Red. Yeah, we don't just settle for Sexy Red. You know, you're going from one extreme to another. We maybe don't have to get Dr. Umar Johnson, but then we don't have to get Sexy Red either. It's somewhere in the middle. Let's get that person. Maybe that's the problem. The kids should not be looking at Sexy Red as somebody, that's who I want to listen to. No, you're right. Maybe Angel Reese. Get Angel Reese, like what you're saying. You know what I mean? Let's go there. We don't have to get Sexy Red. And then the kids, if they do listen to her, when they turn on her music, listen what they hear. It's different, bro. We can't get Millie Jackson, Lil Kim, Foxy Brown. No, I don't want none of them to come talk to the students at the school. And our parents didn't do that. We didn't go get Luke Skywalker. Yes, I snuck and listened to Luke
Yes.
Skywalker and Two Live Crew. But if we had a assembly at school, if Luther Campbell to walk down the stage, we'd have went crazy. But the teachers know better. No, we're not going to get that guy. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you
Whether
know,
y'all like it or not.
every artist I promoted, I took to a school. You don't think they let me bring Biggie into the schools? Absolutely, they let me bring Biggie into George With.
Well, that
They let me bring
maybe they.
Outkast into George With. They let me bring, and I'm not saying it was right. I'm saying that
Yeah, I'm going to
at,
say maybe they shouldn't have. That's why
I
the next
agree. You know
generation
what?
wanted to be drug dealers.
You know what? I agree wholeheartedly. I used to say, why are we taking them there? It was two reasons why we was taking them there. Guess why?
Why?
When his people called and said, "Can I set up a date at your school?" The school said yes. So then forget what Tommy's opinion is that he don't need to be at George With because it's already on his itinerary. And when the principal called, they took him there. So now I had to meet the principal and start saying, look, you should be mindful of who you're letting come in your schools. And so I
Yeah.
then changed who I brought into the schools. But yes, they wanted us to bring everybody into the school. and artists had no care. Like artists were there, but they gave the right message. Understand that when Biggie came to the school, he would tell stories and he would say that all of this is anti what I'm preaching. This is to show you the grim side. He said, I'm telling stories in hopes that you see the story and don't want no parts of it. If you decide to want parts of this, then that's on you. But I'm saying, I'm showing you, telling you this is what's going to happen, saying that you're going to get killed, saying that this could happen to you. And most people will run from that. Of course,
Well, I'm thinking as black people, we should stop looking at actors and musicians as the role models or the person that we should look up to. We should stop doing that. What happened to teachers and people like that and the community activists and things like that? Why do we always got to look at the musicians and performers? They don't make the best people. Like we just had, I just had comedians on last week. I was like, comedians are not role models. They're like, hell no. They do
oh,
cocaine
absolutely
in the
not right. Yeah, I
bathroom.
wouldn't. But,
Right. Come on.
but, but look, Dave Chappelle or Kevin Hart is not coming to the school to tell jokes. So if Kevin Hart says he'll come and talk to the kids at Petersburg High, do we let Kevin Hart? Do we let because their jokes are not appropriate for children, but they're not there to tell jokes. That's what I'm saying. Sexy Red ain't there to give a concert. Dave Chappelle
Yeah,
and
but
Kevin Hart are not there to give. They're not there to tell jokes. They're there to talk to the kids because they're the people who have the attention of the kids. That's all I'm
well,
saying.
I don't think you as an adult you should no, I don't think you should do that because say back in the day and we'll let Slick Rick come to our school to talk to us about violence and stuff like that. We say, oh, he's awesome. He said all the right things. And then my mother said, I like that young man that was at your school. We're gonna go buy his cassette. And then we go buy Slick Rick cassette. And when she popped the cassette in, the first
She
thing
have
he
to
said
skip
is,
the first song. Wait, she have to skip the first. She have to go to song two. You supposed to dive your hand forward and say, "Mommy, mommy, listen, listen to this." You press fast forward until you hear the little be silent, and when it cut off, then you press play and go into the second song. That's how you handle that. Okay, that's
but
all.
look, what if as a kid you haven't heard his a cassette yet? And then when mom pops it in and she hears treat her like a prostitute, I mean,
I'm trying to understand where was A&R because how do you open the album? That album isn't even that kind of album. Like that's the most
right, right,
confusing thing to me. When I go and listen to
right.
that album, I say, you know what I say? This is what I just came up with right now. Right now, I am going to say that that's the A&R. That's the demon in the building that said, you need something provocative. You need something that's like out there, that's controversial. And then he went, I'd like to interview him and know how that song got on the album because the album is nothing like that. I'm going to
Right.
say right here, when we interview him, he's going to tell us that an A&R person or somebody did it. Or he was the one who did it, and the A&R person had him do all the other
Try to
stuff.
stop him. He
Right,
probably trying to stop him.
right. The A&R had him do all the other stuff, and that was the one song they let him do, and he wanted it to go first. I don't know, but it's so anti the album.
But
So
Slick Rick he was a wild boy and said wild stuff. So that
well, he
probably
said
was
those
him.
stories. He said the stories was true. The children's
So
story when he went to jail, he said all of that really happened. He didn't say it happened
so
to him, but he said the story. I don't know if it happened to him. But I do know that he was saying all of those stories were true stories. So, uh, well,
oh,
if you grow up in New York, Melly Mel told us there's a million stories to tell. Ain't that one of the verses? A
right,
million
right,
stories
right, right, right,
in a
right,
naked
right, right,
city.
right.
So it's you can find just about everything you want in any major city. I think that's where adults are supposed to come in. Parents are supposed to be the ones who say Sexy Red can't come to the school.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. Right,
The Sexy Red should be at the community center. Sexy
right.
Red should be at the somebody else, a private promoter should be bringing Sexy Red, and we should be telling him to get off of school property trying to put our
Right.
flyers out. Don't be putting your
That's
flyers
right.
out here on campus.
Right. Right.
But
That's all I'm saying. That's all. No diss to her, but that's what I'm saying. Right. It's a
but
time and
hold it,
place for everything, yo.
hold it. The reason I have to give you pushback is because at this same school you're talking about, if my son decides he's a girl, he gets to go to school, put on a dress, and they don't call and tell me. They don't call home and say, Mr. Hairston, Thomas is Tammy at school. The school actually gets into it with them, keeps the secret, doesn't tell. My son
Mm.
every day for the whole year. Then one day I show up at school at lunchtime and surprise my son. And then he tells me the whole school knew, the principal knew, all my teachers knew, the PTA knew. And I go, and y'all didn't tell me. And they go, no, because your son has rights.
Wow.
We're protecting his rights. So now you're telling me that because Sexy Red is promiscuous, that the kids don't have the right to that too? Because we giving them rights. Like, I didn't know this. Did you know that your daughter, my daughter, our children could go and have an abortion and no one tell us?
Wow. No.
That's why the Republicans is trying to change that. The Democrats are saying, hey, everybody. The Democrats are saying, hey, free sexuality. So they certainly can't get mad about Sexy Red when they are allowing gender neutral schools. Like, Doug, this is where we're at. We're at gender
Mm.
neutral.
Mm.
I can wake up and decide right now that I'm gonna go in the girls' locker room because I have a daughter in school where a boy changes in the locker room in the girls' locker room. He takes off his clothes and he puts on his gym stuff there with my daughter in the locker room. Okay? That's at a
Wow.
public school in the state of Virginia. And you want me to be upset because Sexy Red is in the school, bro? No, sir. No, sir. I'm actually going to advocate for Sexy Red because y'all letting
Well,
everything go. Y'all are saying, I, I think it's hypocritical of y'all to even bring up Sexy Red. How dare you? That's what I would say. How dare you say anything about her when y'all letting all of this go on? What are we
wow.
talking about here? Y'all are saying the school is a free, safe space. Actually, check it out. At the same school, I said, what's the dress code? They said, cover the important parts. That's the dress code. Cover
Wow.
the important parts.
Wow.
So, Doug, we're not talking about the 70s school where we had to go in our bedroom under the bed and listen to Richard Pryor and Millie Jackson. No, we're talking about the time when you walk in and you're supposed to take your son to buy Sexy Red. They'll put it on in the car and act like it's normal. If you have a 14-year-old right now, your 14-year-old does not think there's anything wrong with listening to Sexy Red. Now, as a parent, you have two choices. You can either ignore the fact that your kids is listening to this and act like you don't know what's going on, or you can dive into it and know what everything is being said and talk to them about it. Because we beyond me saying that Emma can't hear it. I told
Mm.
somebody this. Emma is having conversations with her brother, who is in his second year in college. They are liking the same music. A 14-year-old and a 21-year-old. So they're having conversation. And so when you listen and understand what the music is, it ain't no, it's not letting them. You're not going to, you will be doing your child a disservice if you're trying to prevent them from listening to it because it's everywhere. I can't even, all I can do is now talk responsibly about what she's listening to, encourage turn her on to other artists. But certainly, I mean, even what I consider to be good, Tyler the Creator, I think he's dope. But if you actually listen to the whole album, like, all you got to do is listen to your kids. You know, they say, Dad, you shouldn't listen to that album. That's the one you go listen to. And then you go, wow. Because when they start listening, they do like we did. They listen to everything. So you can't not listen to the Goblin album, Tyler the Creator, and then say, well, listen to his new stuff, because they go back and listen to the old stuff. So everything that is pushing, or that is on the top of our kids' minds, to me is debauchery. It's
Mm.
terrible, and we can't pretend it's not. We can't act as if this isn't going on, because if so, we're not helping our kids. Like, if I try to act like Emma's not listening to that, then what kind of conversation can I have with her? I have to listen to the lyrics and actually refute the lyrics, and then tell my point of why I don't think you should listen to Sexy Red. And I get my arguments
Well,
from my
I think
students.
that's a job, and that's to be done at home. I don't think still. I don't care if if you don't want boys to be able to go in a girls' bathroom. That's when you should take, as a parent, take charge of that. Go up to the school, whatever. But still, I still don't say, okay, since we let that ride, just let everything ride. You know what I'm saying?
Everything.
If you
Shooting
say that,
heroin in
if
the
you say
bathroom. If they, buddy, at this point, if I'm not even going to
survivors,
dispute.
so you just basically talking about the survivors of the fittest, right? You just
Train your kids. That's I'm on that. I'm on.
okay.
I can't rely on them at all. The things that we could trust that teachers was going to do right, you cannot. If you take that, then you are going to. You're doing your children a disservice. I can't expect the kids to do. I can't even trust that the teacher's not gonna come to school smelling like weed. I can't trust that. You think you want me to believe that? I can't. So I have to be prepared for all of that. So as a
Okay.
parent, I would encourage you to spend more time at home teaching your kids and raising your kids because unless you got all day to be at the school board, I tried that. Trying to get the rules changed, that ain't what's happening. That's like getting a civil rights bill, man. That's like fighting for the right to vote. I did all that. That ain't what's happening. Unless you're gonna spend the next 30 years to change what they just put into play, you can't do that. Your kids is kids now. Emma's 14 now. I got to fight this on a different form. And the way you got to fight this now is you got to be at home setting these. Well, I never intended for the school system to raise my children. My parents never intended for the school system to raise me. There's things that my teachers would certainly let me do that if I tried at home, it wasn't going down like that. So it's the same way with my kids. The school system and I don't see eye to eye. So if they bring sexy red, I'm gonna go and voice my opinion and say they shouldn't have, but probably they don't even have to tell me. By the time I find out, it's because sexy red was at the school. If the school doesn't have to tell me that Emma is dressing as a boy all day long and going in the boys' bathroom, do you think the school gonna send home a permission slip saying we got sexy red at school tomorrow? No, you're gonna hear about it after your kid comes home. That's when you're hearing
Well,
about it.
you put a button on this. If Sexy Red want to say so much positive to the kids, why don't she do it on TikTok? Sometimes you could do it that way, right?
You
Without the
know,
school.
I heard that she is because the way people are finding out that she's intelligent is by the stuff she's obviously posted it somewhere. Because I've heard students argue that she's very intelligent and you should watch this and you should watch that. So apparently she is spitting intelligence somewhere, everywhere but on wax. Everywhere. Look, her biggest
but
platform where she can have the most effect, her biggest platform where she can get the whole world to listen, that's
right,
where
right.
she does absolutely none of this brilliancy that she has. That's her forum to go out and be as sexually free as she wants to.
Hey, Fat Tommy. Hey, appreciate you. Have fun. And once again, condoling to your peoples, man. And
R.I.P.
one love,
Cynthia.
man.
Yes,
All
sir.
right.
All right. Peace, love, and soul logistics.
Peace.
Peace.